The year is 1916 on the Western Front, a world carved from mud and ice. Soldiers lived in deep, narrow trenches zigzagging across France and Belgium, battling not just the enemy, but the relentless winter. Temperatures plunged, wind howled, and snow turned the ground into a frozen swamp. Uniforms stiffened with ice, the air thick with the stench of decay and unwashed bodies. Days blurred together in a monotonous cycle of misery and fear, huddled for warmth, sleep shattered by artillery and sniper fire. Trenches were prisons of mud, water pooling waist-deep and freezing solid. Frostbite was a constant threat, turning fingers and toes black and numb. Soldiers wrapped their feet in sandbags or newspapers, gnawing on frozen rations. Even moving through the trench was exhausting, every step a battle against clinging mud. Rats thrived on discarded rations and the dead, while lice infested uniforms, spreading disease. There were no proper toilets, just foul, overflowing pits. The cold, wet, and filth created a breeding ground for sickness. A simple cut could become a death sentence. The greatest danger wasn't always from bullets, but from the environment itself. In these trenches, survival was a daily struggle against nature's cruelty. Every soldier fought two wars, one against the enemy and one against the mud, cold, and disease. The trenches tested not just strength, but the will to endure. In this world, even the smallest comfort became a lifeline. While we remember the guns and charges of World War I, disease was an even deadlier foe. Cramped, filthy trenches became breeding grounds for epidemics, incapacitating millions. The 1918 Spanish flu swept through exhausted armies, killing more than the war itself. Soldiers packed in barracks and trenches were easy targets for the virus, which struck with terrifying speed. Trench fever, spread by lice, caused weeks of agony. Dysentery and typhoid thrived in contaminated water. For every soldier killed in battle, several more were sidelined by sickness. Military leaders realized hygiene was as vital as ammunition. The fight against disease became a war within a war, waged with disinfectants, clean water, and soap. In the end, a humble bar of soap became one of the most effective weapons against this invisible enemy. It was a simple tool, but it saved countless lives. Disease respected no borders, and hygiene became a matter of survival. The war against germs was relentless, fought daily in the mud and cold. Soap was a soldier's shield against the unseen threats lurking in every trench. Of all the trench horrors, trench foot became a symbol of misery. Prolonged exposure to cold, wet, unsanitary conditions caused feet to swell, blister, and rot. Soldiers stood for days in waterlogged trenches, their boots soaked, blood flow cut off. Flesh decayed, sometimes exposing bone. Amputation was often the only option. Over 75,000 British soldiers suffered from trench foot. The army ordered daily foot inspections, dry socks, and whale oil to protect skin. Supplies were scarce and dry places rare, but soldiers persisted. The battle against trench foot was relentless, a daily fight for survival. This affliction showed that the environment could be deadlier than the enemy. Simple acts of hygiene, drying feet, changing socks, became acts of self-preservation. The lesson was clear. Survival depended on discipline and care. In the trenches, even a pair of dry socks could mean the difference between life and death. Amidst the chaos of war, soap emerged as a silent but powerful weapon. Its unique chemistry, one end attracted to water, the other to fat, made it deadly to germs. Soap molecules broke apart the fatty membranes of bacteria and viruses, washing them away. Even in freezing water, soap's action dismantled germs, protecting soldiers from disease. Armies made soap standard issue, recognizing its vital role. Medical officers enforced washing routines, knowing each lather was a battle won. Soap arrived in rough bars, its harsh scent a reminder of its necessity. In the trenches, soap was as crucial as a rifle. It was a frontline defense, saving lives one wash at a time. Every bar of soap was a small victory against the invisible enemy. The struggle for cleanliness in the cold was universal. Finnish soldiers in the Winter War built saunas using heat to wash away grime, kill lice, and boost morale. Cleanliness was survival. Sweat that froze could mean hypothermia. On the Eastern Front, German and Soviet troops faced brutal winters. Germans, unprepared, suffered from frostbite and disease, often lacking soap and warm clothes. Soviets, more experienced, used snow to scrub skin and stimulate circulation. Across wars and armies, hygiene was a primary tool for survival. The armies that prioritized cleanliness were more resilient. Whether with whale oil, saunas or snow, the goal was the same: fight disease and hold the line. The bar of soap, or its improvised equivalent, was a vital piece of equipment. In frozen conflicts, hygiene was as important as any weapon. Cleanliness kept armies fighting and alive. Soap and clean water were scarce in the trenches, forcing soldiers to improvise. Rainwater was collected in helmets, snow melted for shaving, and every drop was used to the fullest. When soap ran out, sand or soil became makeshift scrubbers. Water was reused for washing faces, socks, and mess tins, nothing wasted. Lice thrived in uniforms. Soldiers picked them out or used candle flames to kill them, risking burns for relief. These routines were more than practical. They were acts of defiance and humanity. In a world of filth, maintaining cleanliness was a way to reclaim dignity. Each small act of hygiene was a stand against the chaos. Soldiers fought not just the enemy, but the filth that threatened to consume them. Improvised hygiene showed resilience and ingenuity. Even in the worst conditions, they found ways to fight back. Soap's impact went beyond health. It restored dignity in the trenches. Washing was a ritual, a way to feel human amid mud, lice, and death. Cleanliness brought a sense of order and self-respect, a link to life before the war. The scent of soap, however faint, could transport a soldier's mind home. A wash and brush-up lifted spirits and fostered camaraderie. Sharing soap or water became acts of mutual support. The bar of soap was a tool for mental survival. It helped soldiers resist the dehumanization of war. In the mud, washing was an affirmation of life and identity. Even in darkness, soap offered hope and a reminder of their humanity. History remembers tanks and battleships, but survival often depended on small tools. The humble bar of soap was a quiet hero of the trenches. It fought the invisible war against disease, saving countless lives. Soap preserved not just bodies but spirits, restoring dignity and hope. Soldiers' ingenuity in staying clean was a testament to resilience. The lesson is clear. Small things can make the biggest difference. In the darkest times, even a bar of soap could be a beacon of hope. The story of soap is the story of survival, humanity, and the will to endure.